Picking up where we left off, we're going to start with part C. Once again, we're trying to use the square root property in order to solve, and the first step is to isolate the term that's being squared. So here I'd have to add 20 to each side, meaning I have 4x squared equals 25. X squared is still not by itself, so I need to divide each side by 4. That gives me x squared equals 25 fourths. In order to get x by itself, I need to take the square root of each side, and whenever I take the square root, I need to put plus or minus out front. So I have plus or minus the square root of 25 over 4. Now we're going to use something called quotient property. So product property, we can split it up. Quotient property, we can also split it up. So I have the square root of 25 over the square root of 4. Well, the square root of 5, let's simplify here. The square root of 5 is just 5. The square root of 4 is just 2. So I have two solutions, a positive 5 halves and a negative 5 halves. All right, part D. Once again, the first step is to isolate the term that's being squared. The term that's being squared here is the x minus 3. So I need to isolate this parenthesis. You must add the 8 first and then divide by the 2. Okay, so I'm going to add the 8 first to each side. I have 2. X minus 3 squared equals 8. Okay, now I'm going to divide by 2. So I have x minus 3 being squared equals 4. Okay, so now that I've isolated the term that's being squared, I haven't solved for x yet, but I've isolated this, I can take the square root at this point. When I take the square root of x minus 3 squared, the square root and the square cancel each other out. So I just have x minus 3 equals plus or minus 2. Because I took the square root, I have to put plus or minus 2. But x still isn't by itself, okay? Now I have to add 3 to each side. So if I add 3 to each side, I have x equals plus or minus 2 plus 3. So really, my two solutions will be a positive 2 plus 3 and a negative 2 plus 3. So my answers would be 5 and 1. Our second